Welcome to GabTalks, where we provide tools, tips, and techniques to help your life and business be easier, better, and faster. Hello, hello. How are you today? I am Gabriella, and welcome to our next episode of GabTalks Success Tips from Experts. And today I am bringing to you my really good friend, Mr. Johnny Castro. Hey, Johnny, how are you today?
Doing super. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. I just love our conversations, and I am delighted that you said yes to being interviewed because what you bring, I think everyone can benefit from. So let's just jump right in. Will you please share with our audience what it is that you are an expert in?
I guess what I would say as far as being an expert in is more that I'm good about reading people and wanting to help people and understanding how they feel as much as anything else. And that's helped me through everything that I've done in my life.
Awesome. Yeah. So because I know you pretty well, I know what you mean when you say that. So I'm actually going to ask you to share with our audience a little bit about your background so that they too will actually understand what it is that you mean when you say that, because you have a really interesting story to share about who you are and where you came up from.
I chase a lot of squirrels, so I've done a lot of different things. I've done everything from being a professional rodeo cowboy to a home builder, to building restaurants, to working at Chuck E. Cheese's Peach Time Theater as a general manager and trainer, and then went into the ministry and was a pastor for many years, and then resigned from that because I was working so much that I wasn't spending enough time with my wife. So I resigned from that and started 4 different businesses, and then found my main business, and now I've got 5. So that's kind of where I am right now.
So you weren't spending enough time over there because you were too busy. So you resigned and went and got even busier.
Well, I don't work near as much as I did while I was at church. I was working about 80 to 90 hours a week,
Oh my.
50 funerals a year.
Wow. Well, I know that you did a lot of counseling over in the church as well. And you mentioned also that you did a lot of funerals. And so that's really kind of important, because when I ask our next question about what it was and is that inspires you, I know that we had a very interesting conversation about the inspirations that got you to where you are and make you the expert that you are. Will you share that with our audience, please?
Well, sure. The reason I was doing a lot of counseling is because people need help, and that's been my heart for so many years. Is I want to help people, and I got so frustrated because when I would ask them, "What do you hear me saying?" and they would not be hearing what I was saying. So I became certified in several different personality profiles, and then certified in learning styles, so that I would be able to understand how to communicate to the different personalities and different learning styles, because we're all different.
Right.
We were all made different. So we need to be able to communicate with each other in such a way that we hear what you're actually meaning to say. That's particularly the case in Texas, where I'm from, because there's a lot of different cultures in Texas.
Yeah.
And we can say one thing and other people may think something else.
Right.
So that's why it was so important for me to understand that. And it's helped me in the other businesses that I do now, because it helps me be able to do that, because I'm a helper, but I'm also a teacher. I want to help educate people in the sense of helping them understand how they can be better.
In fact, one of the things we talked about before we hit the record button that this is a perfect tie-in to is a quote that you live your life by that really embodies exactly what you just said. Will you share that?
Yes, Zig Ziglar said, if you help enough other people get what they want, you'll get what you want. And that's my heart, is to help people get what they want, because they have such a desire. And when that happens, I get what I want because I want to see them get what they want.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hello, hello, awesome listener. Thank you so much for joining us today at GabTalks Success Tips from Experts. We're going to take a short break and say thank you to our sponsors. It is through the generous support of these sponsors that we are able to bring to you these amazing experts that are sharing their best tips for your success. So please listen to what our sponsors have to say, and hopefully they're going to inspire you that you're going to click their links and go support them.
Ever wish you had a generous, wealthy uncle? Well, this Gab Talk sponsor may be the next best thing. If you've ever found yourself wishing some successful person would willingly invest their time, energy, and money in you to help you crawl out of the drudgery of your life, then this is your lucky day. Most people will ignore this. They'll think it's too good to be true. But if you'll pay attention, you may just discover that he is the guy. And as you might imagine, this is exactly why I've been asked not to reveal his identity. If I did, he would surely be overwhelmed by countless people sending in their sob stories in hopes of getting a handout. Well, he can't help everybody. He's not a charity. He's a business philanthropist, and he's made millions and would like to give back. He's willing to give a few total strangers a hand up. If you would like him to invest in you and you want more wealth, better health, and a drastically improved quality of life, simply click the link and tell him your story. Be honest. He'll see what he can do. I can't promise he's going to solve all of your problems, but he will make you this promise. If you have the courage to tell your story, he'll read every word and give you a valuable gift just for doing so. So go ahead. What are you waiting for? Click the link and share your story.
You've all heard, and you know how powerful it is to send thank you cards, notes of appreciation, and gifts that build and maintain relationships. However, writing and sending generic impersonal greetings and gifts one by one just is so overwhelming and takes so much time. Not to mention, these days, who wants to deal with lines at the post office, running out of stamps, or having to print stamps yourself? And then there's the embarrassment of missing an important date altogether. Yikes. So what can you do? If you go to marketyourbiz.guru, you will be able to get help with your greetings and gifts that are printed, stamped, stuffed, and mailed automatically for you. Make sure that you tell them Gabriella sent you. So can you please share with our audience, if you were able to go back and talk to your younger self, or I know that you have a lot of people that you work with today that are young and starting out in their entrepreneurial journey. If you could share one tip to help them jumpstart and get that much closer to success and expertise that much more quickly, what would that be?
Well, that's a fairly easy question, because something with my son, we were very close, and I told him at a very young age that look for your passion, because if you do what your passion is, you won't ever have to work a job.
Yeah.
And he's a geoarchaeologist. Well, when he was 10 years old, he saw Raiders of the Lost Ark and decided that's what I want to do. And that was his passion. And that's what he's doing now.
Yeah.
And he's even passed that on to his daughter. And now she wants to be a paleontologist, and she's 9 years old.
Nice. So basically, when you know what is your passion, don't be afraid to follow what really resonates with you.
You go for it, because it's not about the money. It's about the success in your heart.
Yep. So I'm going to open up the floor and ask you if you would please share with our audience your best tips to help them reach their level of success. And you're welcome to share for 2 or 3 or 5 for several minutes.
The best way to get success is, first of all, learn what you're doing. Your passion can get you to a certain point, but there has to be some type of education that gets you there. And you get that But then you also find people that are successful in the areas that you want to go into and let them mentor you, let them grow you, and bounce things off of them so that you can understand more about what you're looking at, because passion is just the first step of being a success. It's understanding what you're doing and doing it in such a way. I found Legal Shield. I didn't know a lot about it. I just knew that it helped. I didn't become an associate right away. I bought the plan. After a week of telling people, talking to people that could use what it offered, I thought, well, why leave money on the table? So I became an associate. Uh, I didn't know a lot about it, but I found somebody that could mentor me and tell me about it. And once I got into it and saw how it helped people, that's when it touched my heart. An example, I had a lady that called me and she wanted a divorce, and I told her I'm not an advocate for a divorce, but I wanted to hear what she had to say. She said, well, my husband's an alcoholic. He goes out and drinks 3 or 4 nights a week. And before he goes out to drink, he chains me to the bed. And when he comes back, he beats me. And I'm afraid for my children's safety. Well, that broke my heart. So I said, I'll help you. So I went over there and I picked her and her children up the next morning, took them to Safe Haven, which is a house for abused women, and helped her get the plan. They helped her with a divorce, a restraining order, and then filed charges on him and put him in jail. But that's not where it stopped. The attorney had such an appeal also to her situation that he called her for the next year, the first of the month, every month, just to check on her. I had been with her. I had met with her and her children for 3 or 4 months, just counseling with them. But every time he called her, she called me crying, saying, thank you for Legal Shield. Well, that made it all worthwhile to me. And that's why whatever job you have, which ought to be an occupation, not a job, it ought to be that passion that helps people.
Every time I hear that story, I get chills because, there are unfortunately people out there that are like that. And there are more people out there than we would like to know that do that kind of stuff. And having the ability to reach out and get help, and knowing that there's people like you where your passion is to give people hope and to give a guiding and helping hand really makes a huge difference. And, your experience in understanding how to work with people's personalities and read their personalities so that you can actually give them the best guidance to help them is just like, we need more people like that. Are you ready to be a hero? On every episode of GabTalks, we highlight an organization that is doing good in its own community. So now we'd like to take a moment to highlight the hero sponsor that brought today's organization to our attention.
Hello, I'm Deborah Thorne, the Information Diva, author, coach, trainer, speaker, and the proud host of the Leverage Conference for speakers, authors, and entrepreneurs. Today, it is my pleasure to highlight one of my favorite nonprofit organizations, Demo Chicks. Demo Chicks empowers, elevates, and enlightens girls and young women in the non-traditional fields of architecture, construction, and engineering. For more information about Demo Chicks, please use the link below. Thank you for your support.
So, can you please share with us how people can reach out and contact you? And you guys, the links are going to be down below in the show notes and in the description. So make sure that you click on those links to reach out to Johnny. So Johnny, can you please share with people what that is?
Yes, you can reach me by email, johnny.caster3@gmail.com. You can reach me by my digital business card, www.legalcaster.biz, or you can even call me at 817-800-2208. I'm always available.
Awesome. All right. And then one of the things we talked about beforehand is that you have a personality profile that you can share with people that they can go through and you can give them some feedback. Will you tell our audience about that? And we'll put a link to that below as well, that you can jump in and get that offer from Johnny.
Sure. The personality, there's 4 different types. The one I teach is the DISC. The D is somebody that's very dominant, direct, demanding, determined type personality. When you're talking to them, you want to use words like straightforward and target and challenge. Those are words that will intrigue them and make them listen. There's the I, that's somebody that's very influential and enthusiastic. They're very people oriented. The way you communicate to them is you share illustrations and stories, because that's what they want to hear. Then there's the S, who's very sensitive and sincere and heartfelt. When you're talking to them, you use feelings and to the heart of the matter. And then there's the C, that's somebody that's very cautious and calculating. They're very, they like all the details. So when you're talking to them, you use background and data and details. And that's when they listen. Because, if they're a real high C, you don't want to ask them what time it is, because they'll tell you how to make the watch. But those are the simple ways of understanding people and how to communicate to them so that they hear what you're saying.
Right. So we'll have a link that will be down below in the show notes and in the description, that you can reach out to Johnny, and between DISC and the other personality profiles that he is certified in, he will give you the opportunity to put in your information, and we'll have a conversation with you to go through and explain to you how you come across in your personality. So you guys, thank you so much for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you at the next GabTalks Success Tips from Experts episode. Please make sure to subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to click the reminder so that you get notified when we are publishing our next episode. Hey, thanks so much for watching. We hope you got value today. We want to give a huge shout out of gratitude to our contributors. Please make sure you click the subscribe button below, and don't forget to click the bell up above to get reminders when we add new content.